testified. Vice President Sara Duterte's defense team began its cross-examination of the prosecution's first witness. Former Interior Secretary Benhur Abalos returns to government after being appointed a cabinet secretary. Senator Rodante Marcoleta remains hospitalized after being diagnosed with mild pneumonia. And signal number 1 remains in effect over parts of the country due to Super Typhoon Inday. Good afternoon, I'm Denise Tan. The impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte entered its third day. The defense conducted its cross-examination of NBI Senior Agent John Mark Calilong, led by lawyer Carlo Narvasa. Calilong earlier testified on the authentication of the video from Duterte's November 2024 online press conference, where she made the controversial remarks about having someone kill the president, the First Lady, and former Speaker Martin Romualdez. During the cross-examination, the defense focused on documents linked to MaxCore Interventures Co., which Calilong identified as a forensic software provider that trained him. The defense also questioned him about the February 10 affidavit of investigation on the grave threats complaint against Duterte. Throughout the proceedings, Prosecutor Virgil Ligutan repeatedly objected to Narvasa's questions, arguing they were irrelevant or argumentative. Presiding Officer Cheese Escudero noted the continuing objections but allowed the defense to proceed. The defense also played selected clips from a November 2024 online press conference by the Vice President's Chief of Staff, Zulaika Lopez, after she was cited in contempt by the House of Representatives. The defense concluded its cross-examination at 3:34 p.m. Several senator judges then asked questions to Calilong before the impeachment court adjourned. And for more updates of the impeachment trial, let's bring in mobile journalist Mary Mon Reyes. Okay, Mary Mon, Day 3 has already ended. Kailan nga ba ipepresent ng prosecution yung kanilang next witness?
Denise, maaga at sabi kanina ni impeachment court spokesperson Attorney Reggie Tonggol, maaga raw, hindi raw in-expect na matatapos agad itong day 3 ng historic impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. Pero kasi kanina, ang sinabi rin ni prosecution counsel to the prosecutors, Attorney Ligutan, na gagamitin daw nila ng maayos yung 11 trial days na inaalat nila para sa pagpepresenta ng documentary evidence maging ng witnesses na nakapailalim sa Article of Impeachment 4 o yung alleged grave threats na binitiwan ni Vice President Sara Duterte against President Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. So nung natapos, dito sa unang testigo, ang nasabi nila, itong sila Attorney Jeremy Lotto, kabilang na rin si NBI Director Melvin Matibag, and even Belinda Bello from the House of Representatives, plano na nila itong i-present next week. And ito yung sinabi rin ng nilinaw ng defense kung sure na raw ba yun? So sinabi naman ng prosecution, oo, kaya pinapatawag na rin itong mga individual to present themselves in person next week. So far, ang nasabi rin kanina, yung request for the issuance of subpoena to Stecom regarding the tax documents of Vice President Sara Duterte, even her spouse, Attorney Man Scarpio, ang sinasabi dito ng presiding officer, he ordered the submission of the memorandum on Monday and scheduled the oral arguments for both the prosecution panel and the defense team on Wednesday with just 10 minutes to give or to spend. Regarding the renewed request naman for the issuance of subpoena to Stecom for the bank records as addressed, ang sabi dito ng presiding officer, nag-order na rin ng scheduling ng oral arguments still on Monday. And yung request ng issuance ng subpoena to Attorney Zulaika Lopez, it was granted. So kabilang din siya sa ipapatawag na tetestigo next week. Denise.
Okay, Marimon, we all know that will happen again on July 13, Monday at 2 p.m. Pero balikan natin yung nangyari kanina, no, on day 3 of the trial. Dinaanan ng defense yung credibilidad nitong witness na si John Mark Calilong, pati na rin yung kung ano ba yung background nitong MaxCore Interventures, the software provider na di umano ay nagbigay ng training dito kay Calilong. At pati na rin yung complaint affidavit ng NBI, kesyo parang hindi naman daw sila yung offended party. Can you tell us more about those things?
Mm. Denise, kanina kasi nung pine-present, for example, yung sa case nung nagpakita ng articles of partnership nitong Max4 na sinasabing doon nga nagkaroon ng nagbigay ng training services, pero hindi naman daw ganun yung business talaga o alam. Kabilang din doon sa pagpresenta nung let's see yung doon sa video naman na piniplay nila, showing yung si Chief of Staff na Zuleika Lopez, sa staff ni VP Sara, lahat ng mga yon kine-question ng defense. For example, sa case nung video, nagkaroon daw pa ng narinig na may sinabing threat or detained itong si Zuleika Lopez. Pero ang sinasabi naman dito ni Kalilong, ang pinaka-focus niya raw sa trabaho niya ay yung pag-iimbestiga lang daw at pag-verify at pagka-transcribe din ang maayos nitong mga video, especially online press briefing noong November 23, 2024 ni VP Sara Duterte. Kanina rin naman, itong ilang mga senador ay kinwestiyon din ng diretsuhan itong si Kalilong. For example, sina Senator Raffy Tulfo, tinanong, kasi related ito sa question ng defense na yung mga apektado raw supposedly, so si PBBM, si First Lady Liza, si former House Speaker Romualdez, nag-file daw ba ito ng kaso, ng complaint, ng reklamo? As far as Kalilong knows daw, wala raw ganon. So ang tanong ngayon ni Attorney Narvasa from the defense, akala raw ba niya siya yung nag-imbestiga nito? Pero wini-withdraw niya yung remark niya na ngayon. So ang tanong naman ngayon si Senator Judge Tulfo na sa cases daw ba na ganito, may filing daw ba talaga ng kaso or reklamo from the NBI? Ang sabi dito ni Kalilong, as long as sapat daw yung basehan nila or yung ebidensya nila, makakapagsampa sila ng kaso. And ang sinabi pa, tinanong din sa kanya, automatic daw ba ito? Ang sabi ni Kalilong, it's in the affirmative, yes, kaya nagkaroon ng pagsasampa ng kaso, even if tinatanong din ng defense na wala naman daw pagpa-file ng case or ng complaint dito sa part ng first family, maging ni former House Speaker Romualdez. And ang isa sa sinabi rin kanina ni Attorney Tonggol naman ng impeachment court, dahil wala naman na raw naging cross-examination pa ulit or objections on the part of the prosecution panel, excuse na raw itong si Kalilong. Move forward na raw sila next week. Denise.
Dagdag lang natin, Mary Mon, doon sa binabanggit mo, specifically tinanong kasi kung bakit hindi naka-attach yung affidavit ng Presidente, ng First Lady at pati na rin ng former House Speaker. Pero ang sagot dito ng witness na si John Mark Calilong ay motu proprio naman daw. Pakikwento nga ulit.
Motu proprio investigation, ito nga yung coming din sa part nila. Pero nung una, ito yung pinupunto ngayon ng defense na walang nanggaling sa part ng mga supposed na nagiging respondent sa case na to or sa issue na ito or yung complainants rather na sila PBBM, sila First Lady Lisa and itong si former House Speaker Romualdez. Pero tulad din kahapon, ipinakita rin kasi ng prosecution panel naman, for example, yung response from the PNP and ng AFP in relation to this, plus yung naging spark, yung kumbaga kung saan nagsimula na nag-initiate na kinakailangan ng investigahan ng NBI, etong nangyari. And yun nga yung sinagot niya. As long as may sapat daw na basehan at ebidensya sa kanilang investigation at sa findings, maaaring makapagsampa ng kaso ang NBI. And it could be automatic tulad ng nangyari sa case na ito. Denise.
All right, thank you very much. Again, that was mobile journalist Mary Mon Reyes. Now, more stories when One Newsfeed returns. Stay tuned. The impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte resumes today with the spotlight now shifting to the defense. And for the latest from the Senate, we go live to mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. Arles, what has been the defense's main line of questioning during its cross-examination dito kay NBI Senior Agent John Mark Calilong, and how did the prosecution react to that as well?
Well, so far, Denise, no, kung kahapon ay nakita natin yung sunod-sunod na objection ng defense, no, sa mga tanong ng prosekusyon, ay ngayon naman yung prosekusyon na ang nag-object sa mga tanong ng defense, no. At so far, uminog ang mga tanong ni Attorney Carlos Narvasa, ang defense counsel na nagsagawa ng cross-examination sa NBI agent na si John Mark Calilong, gaya na lamang, no, ng mga training nito in relation sa digital forensics para nga ma-authenticate ang video na naglalaman ng umano'y ebidensya ng grave threats ni Vice President Sara Duterte kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza Marcos at maging sa dating House Speaker na si Martin Romualdez. Unang ipresenta nga yung ilang mga dokumento na hindi raw na markahan doon sa kanilang isinagawang preliminary conference kaya humingi ng kopya ang mga senator judges maging ang prosekusyon sa utos na rin ni Presiding Officer Chis Escudero at sa kanyang mga binasang dokumento yung kagaya nga na nabanggit ni Mary Mundelis yung Max Core Incorporation na kung saan nga yung nakaregister daw sa primary purpose ng kumpanya na ito ay yung nasabing kaugnayan sa import at export ng goods, wholesale at retail basis. At least para naman sa prosekusyon na may mga na-overrule naman na mga objections sila and nevertheless nagtuloy-tuloy naman yung cross-examination ng kampo ni Vice President Sara Duterte.
Okay, Arles, kanina lang nakita natin yung press conference where Attorney Michael Poa said dalawa yung isang yung nabanggit niya. Una-una, he scored it 10 out of 10. Ano daw yung mga dahilan dito at ano rin daw yung dahilan kung bakit nila why they chose to show clips of Attorney Zulaika Lopez?
Para kasi sa kanila Denise ay meron daw a justified na dahilan kung bakit nga sinabi ni Vice President Sara Duterte yung umano'y grave threats Actually inaabangan nga natin kanina kung buong 2 hours ng video yung ipe-play pero luckily at least what we can say dahil mahaba-haba yung 2 hours and 23 minutes na video kaya nakatipid-tipid din ng oras kahit papaano at ipinakita na lamang yung ilang mga bahagi nito kagaya na lamang nung umiiyak si Zulaika Lopez na dating Chief of Staff or I believe hanggang ngayon Chief of Staff pa rin ni Vice President Sara Duterte sa detention facility sa Kongreso kaugnay ng nagpapatuloy noon na investigasyon and at least for them meron daw kasi silang mga target na na-meet nga marami silang mga gustong ilabas kanina and sa pagtatanong lumabas naman ito kagaya na lamang yung naging tugon at aksyon ng National Bureau of Investigation and at least for the part ng NBI sinabi naman nila Denise na kung sino man daw yung mga pinakamatataas na opisyal ng pamahalaan, Pangulo, Vice President, maging ang Senate President, House Speaker at maging ang Chief Justice, kapag nagkaroon daw ito ng mga threats or banta sa kanilang buhay, ay hindi na kailangan ng complaint at agad natutugon ang mga ito dito sa kanilang impormasyon na makukuha. At actually, at least compared sa mga nagdaan na mga administrasyon, ganito din naman yung nagiging tugon. Kahit walang complaint, yung mismong opisyal, kapag may mga threats ay hinuli na rin agad.
Okay, Arles, at one point, Senator Risa Ontiveros asked a question to the defense and saying na yung alleged grave threats could be excused if there is a reason behind them. Paano nag-react at paano sinagot yan ng depensa?
Well, para sa depensa, Denise, ang testimonya raw ni Kalilong ay hindi sapat para patunayan yung paratang na may grave threats si Vice President Sara Duterte kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Ayon sa kanila, sayang lang daw yung pera ng taong bayan at yung oras dito sa impeachment trial na isinasagawa. At si VP Sara na rin daw yung nagsabi na hindi assassin yung kausap niya at nanggaling lang daw yung termino doon sa mga tao na gumamit nito sa social media. And in his word mismo sa kanyang pahayag bago matapos yung paglilitis VP Sara herself said she did not talk about an assassin. This term only came from people who took her statements out of their proper context and tried to exaggerate them for what they really meant. The truth of the matter is this. Ay sa kay Biluan, ang pamilya daw ni Vice President Sara Duterte, while her response is unconventional, it was justified. What triggered her response was a question about Operation Romanov, which is the plot to eliminate Vice President Sara Duterte and her entire family. At yung mga record daw ng NBI ang magpapatuloy dito.
All right. Thank you for those updates. Again, that was mobile journalist Arles De Los Santos. Now, the Malacanang says Vice President Sara Duterte's brief appearance during her impeachment trial fell short of what the public wants to hear. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said Filipinos want the Vice President to personally address the allegations against her rather than leave the response entirely to her legal team. Castro was reacting to Duterte's statement where she described the impeachment proceedings as a bloodbath and quoted the poem Invictus. The palace also defended the legality of the impeachment process after Duterte's camp questioned the proceedings before the Supreme Court. Castro maintained that the current setup of the impeachment court is consistent with the Constitution.
Katulad na sa sinabi sa Invictus, kung yun po ang kanyang iniisip at kanyang opinyon ay hindi naman natin siya mapapahinto sa kanyang pagsasalita patungkol dito. At magiging madugo talaga to kung hindi makikita ng taong bayan ang katotohanan. At yan naman ang hinahanap ng ating mga kababayan, malaman ano ba talaga ang mga katotohanan sa mga ibinabato sa kanya.
In other news, President Bongbong Marcos has appointed former Interior Secretary Benhur Abalos Jr. as Cabinet Secretary. Malacanang said Abalos is set to take his oath on Wednesday afternoon. He will serve as a key advisor to the President and help coordinate with government agencies, organizations, and other sectors. Abalos previously led the Interior Department before losing his Senate bid in 2025. Senator Rodante Marcoleta remains hospitalized after doctors diagnosed him with mild pneumonia, declaring him unfit for transfer. The PNP General Hospital said Marcoleta's chest X-ray also showed an enlarged heart, while tests revealed a degenerative condition in his cervical spine. Doctors said the 72-year-old senator is clinically stable, but his blood pressure remains elevated, with additional test results still pending. Meanwhile, the Sandigan Bayan has ordered the PNP and the PNP General Hospital to submit reports on Marcoleta's custody status and medical condition. The court has yet to issue a commitment order as the senator has not yet appeared before the division following his arrest. Marcoleta faces plunder charges over the alleged non-disclosure of 75 million pesos in campaign donations. Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Senator Erwin Tulfo has lodged another complaint against some of the 18 alleged bagmen of fugitive lawmaker Zaldi Cole. Tulfo filed grave oral defamation charges against the bagmen and their backers over their June 16 press conference. This is on top of complaints he already filed on June 8 after the bagmen accused Tulfo of receiving suitcases of kickbacks during a hearing led by Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Respondents include detained ex-lawmaker Mike Defensor, attorney Levi Baligod, and Quezon City Councilor Ranulfo Ludovica. Filing before the Mandaluyong Prosecutor's Office, Tulfo once again denied he is involved in corruption.
Wala namang ganon. I mean, that's really not true. Kasi, after all, wala naman akong flood control. Kahit balik-balik na rin mo ang mundo, halukain mo ang papers, documents sa DPWH, maging sa Cabral files. Since I joined Congress, since I joined the Senate, wala ako ni 5 na government project. Wala akong infrastructure, wala akong flood control, farm to market, etc. None.
In a message to News 5, Baligod says Tulfo has all the right to file charges, but he insists that the bagmen's accusations are all true. In business, more Filipinos were jobless in May based on preliminary results of the Philippine Statistics Authority's Labor Force Survey. The unemployment rate ticked up to 4.8% in May, translating to 2.5 million jobless Filipinos. That's an increase of about 90,000 from the 2.1 million recorded in April. Underemployment, meanwhile, dropped to 12.2 million or about 6 million Filipinos. This metric measures the number of employed Filipinos who wants another job. Underemployment reached 15% back in April. National Statistician Undersecretary Claire Dennis Mapa says most job losses in May were in the agriculture sector, possibly due to the onset of the El Nino phenomenon. One Newsfeed will be back after this short break. You're still watching One Newsfeed. Welcome back. Super Typhoon Inday is expected to enhance habagat or the southwest monsoon through the weekend. According to Pag-asa's latest weather bulletin, Inday, also known by its international name Bavi, is located 1,205 kilometers east of northern Luzon, packed with winds of 190 kilometers per hour and gustiness of 240 kilometers per hour. Inday is moving westward at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. Inday is expected to move toward extreme northern Luzon by Friday and exit the Philippine area of responsibility by Saturday. In the coming days, it will intensify habagat, bringing in rains throughout the country on Thursday and Friday. Signal number 1 is hoisted in 12 provinces, mostly in Ilocos, Cagayan Valley, and Cordillera regions. The full list is flashed on your screens. Overseas, intense rains in China literally opened the floodgates for over 900 snakes. These videos show hundreds of snakes swimming in floodwaters in a town in Guangxi. The southern region has been battered for days by Typhoon Maysak, which has already killed at least 17 people. These snakes came from a breeding farm that was washed away during the typhoon. Among those that managed to escape were venomous cobras. Authorities are urging residents to take safety precautions. Catch the special coverage of One News and other Kapatid networks on Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial. We will bring you the proceedings live as it happens with in-depth reports and analysis from legal luminaries and other personalities. And that wraps up One News Feed, the only feed you need. I'm Denise Tan. Good evening.